So first of all, thank you to John Appleseed for suggesting this topic. It's one of the most important subjects to consider for a serious composer for two reasons. First of all, it's becoming lost as an art. If you look at the majority of music within the popular genre, there's no need for thematic development. In the 1800s, while there were songs and dances, simple forms, there were also a lot more serious works that used development. So it's becoming lost. And then secondly, it's very difficult. It's probably next to the conclusion, or even maybe more so. It's the most difficult part of writing in sonata allegro or rondo or one of the other forms. So I'm going to spend several videos tackling this subject, and I'm going to break it down into examples. So in this video, I'm going to discuss two questions that I ask myself about the theme and the development aspect, and I'm going to use as an example Chopin's Opus 23 Balad, since it's an excellent example of well thought out form and structure. And then in a future video, I'm going to talk about one of my own compositions as an example and what worked for me. So these are suggestions as to what works for me. Hopefully they help you out. But it's difficult because we don't have a list of rules to follow for development like we do with the exposition, for instance. So it's very challenging. So the two questions that I ask: first of all, what is the shape of the melody that I'll be developing? It seems a little abstract, but I'll talk about what I mean by that. First of all, I encourage you to have in mind a project of your own that you're working on, so that you can apply these things to one of your own compositions. So have something in mind. Maybe a sonata, something where you've had a challenge developing material. So the first question, what is the shape of the melody? The second question is, what is its purpose? Now, I'll talk about each of these in detail and use Chopin's Balad as an example. So what is the shape? What I mean by that is literally, what does the melody do? Is it bell-shaped? Does it ascend and then plateau? What does it look like? Just in a general sense. We don't want to be too specific yet as far as specific intervals or anything analytical. We just want a general idea of the shape of the melody line, because we're going to follow that as a general guide when we develop it later. The second question, what is its purpose? And what I mean by that is both in the first appearance of it in the exposition, or wherever it first appears. What is it doing? Where does it come from? Where is it going? Is its purpose to establish a tonal center? Is it to establish a mood, an idea, or something else? And then how does that differ from its purpose in the development section? And this is important to keep in mind, because if we just kind of write in a random fashion, it can take on a random characteristic. It can seem like there's no direction to it. So to have in mind a different direction than what it did initially, that's important. So I'll play through a couple parts of Chopin's Balad to explain what I mean by these two questions, and I'll answer them using that as an example. I'm going to discuss both questions kind of simultaneously as I play through the examples. Now the principal theme of Chopin's Balad is to establish a tonal center and as well as a mood. He pulls it out of this broad major keyed introduction that gradually turns into G minor, this atmospheric moody theme, and then from there he builds it until it becomes this climactic transitional section. So I'm not going to play all of it, but I'll play the introduction and the beginning of the principal theme so you can see its purpose. And then we'll contrast that with the developed theme later on, and then also keep in mind, or try to picture what the melody line looks like graphically, so you can kind of see what he does with it later. that's the introduction now. This is the primary theme. So could you kind of picture the melody line? It does this sort of thing. Now I'm going to contrast that with what it does later. First of all, it's to the principal theme is most important. It's to which other material responds. Contrast that with later on when he develops it. It's in a major key and it's in response to something else. So it has a slightly less important value. Still very important, but he keeps the general melody shape as well. And so I'll play the theme to which it responds, and you can kind of see that it's in response to something else. Principal theme. From there, he transforms it back into a minor key to go into A minor. So we can see that the purpose was a little bit different than it was initially. Hopefully that helps you to see that he still kept the shape of the melody, though, not specific intervals, because that couldn't be transferred into a major key from the minor key, keeping the same exact intervals. For instance, a major third and so forth. If he kept the shape and the same intervals, it would have he couldn't have established a major tonality for that. So hopefully that's given you an idea of what worked in this piece, and I'm going to go through one of my own compositions next and see what's worked. So hopefully you enjoyed it.